time to call your lawyer.
So while the crew is dialing, let me get you set up and ready for today's Ask the Lawyer segment. As I've been saying this morning, a very sad situation, so hopefully, I say hopefully when I know better than that, Bruce will be able to shed some light on a more positive outcome. We'll get into the question momentarily, but first I need to remind you this is just general legal conversation. It should not be taken as specific advice in your specific circumstances. For that, you've got to sit down face-to-face with a legal professional. Now, a lot of lawyers do offer initial consultations for free. I know Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates certainly do, so you might want to avail yourself of that opportunity. I'll give you the phone number and contact information in just a moment so you can call and get yourself a free consultation. And I'll also tell you how to submit a question for future consideration. In the meantime, here's some good general legal advice that everybody can benefit from if you find yourself behind the eight ball. Don't sign anything. Don't make any statements. And don't let anyone record any conversations until you've spoken to a legal professional. With that in mind, let's see what Bruce thinks of today's legal brain teaser at Kicks Country 92.9. Would you please help me welcome Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How you doing?
Just fine. A little hot and sweaty already this time of the morning. You know how it is. It's been hot lately.
Yeah, I hope they paying for the air conditioning up there so you could get a little bit of relief. Air
conditioning. I don't think that I've ever heard of that. Neither has my boss. I'll have to look into that. Sounds good, though. Anyway, I know that you're a busy man. We've got some questions that I want to make sure that we ask of you. One in particular stands out. It's a very sad one. I hope you can help this woman out with a very sad dilemma. Are you ready to take it on?
I'm happy to give it a try.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. The question says, my husband was killed in a hit and run by a drunk driver. Currently, the driver is in custody. The driver did this after leaving a bar less than a mile from where he hit and killed my husband. Then he hid his truck and ran before being located by law enforcement. It doesn't say anything more than that, but I think that's really the crux of the case, as they say. How would you approach something as tragic as that?
You have to really give a lot of sympathy for the poor woman who lost her husband.
Certainly.
But in order to help her financially obtain restitution, first, hopefully this irresponsible drunk driver had some insurance.
Yes.
So if he had insurance, then we would be able to go after his insurance company to make a recovery and obtain restitution for the wrongful death of the lady's husband. The second avenue to look at and pursue is our old friend uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
So if this man who was killed and or his wife had uninsured motorist coverage, hopefully they had stacking uninsured motorist coverage, we could make a recovery against the uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay.
And third, there may be a lawsuit against the bar that served the drunk driver.
This is what we were wondering.
Now, that's called a Dram Shop Act.
Dram Shop, okay.
And in Florida, it has a very, very difficult standard. In order to be able to hold the establishment responsible, you have to prove that they knowingly serve a known alcoholic.
Really?
Yep.
They don't have to just recognize that he was drunk and incapable of taking care of himself. He had to be a known alcoholic.
So he has to be obviously drunk that time. And he has to be a known alcoholic.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So if this guy was driving down from New York, stopped in the bar, got drunk, and went out and killed somebody, the bar would have no way to know he was a known alcoholic.
That would be true.
If he came there 3 days in a row and got drunk each day, and the third day he did this, there'd be some evidence of him being an alcoholic and making the bar liable. Now, we just resolved part of a very, very sad case where this guy went every Saturday to the bar. They had a game that started at noon and went from noon to 5 every Saturday. And, of course, the game was you do this and take a shot of alcohol. You do that and take a shot. So he came there every Saturday and got drunk there every Saturday. And then he very sadly really hurt our client. But we were able to prove that he was a known alcoholic because he came there and got drunk on a regular basis.
Right, right. So a so-called regular who regularly overindulges, that might be something that you could pursue. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm using the terminology right, but it's a pretty strict burden of proof, isn't it?
It's a very heavy burden of proof.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this is of some help to somebody who's obviously had their life changed forever. Obviously, this is nothing she can take on her own. It's complicated, and she needs the help of a professional.
She absolutely should see a professional right away. And anytime somebody, his life taken from them in a motor vehicle accident, there's so many intricacies. Who's able to recover under the law? You have to be a survivor, which is either a surviving spouse or sometimes a parent, always a minor child.
Okay.
So you really need someone that has a lot of experience handling wrongful death cases.
Okay. Well, I hope that she gets that kind of help and as quickly as possible. So, the clock is always ticking on these kinds of things. So that's the best advice, is to get some help. And you do make me feel a little bit more lighthearted about this very sad situation. I feel like at least there's some hope for her now. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you for presenting this challenging problem.
Absolutely. And I'm sure we'll have another challenging problem, hopefully not quite this tragic, to present to you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. And another great answer. Your question, you want to get that answered too, right? Let's do that. It's as simple as going to the website, kickscountry929.com, looking for BLS on the homepage, clicking there and sending as much information as you are comfortable in sending. Obviously, we never give out personal details. On the other hand, if you're in a legal situation that's above and beyond your understanding, you're just scratching your head, you might want some more immediate help. That's when I would advise you to call the Port Charlotte office of Bruce L. Scheiner and Associates at 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. And tell them Todd Matthews sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.